baby. Boom. Rise and shine. At least it's a sunshiny day today. I can take my hoodie off, but it'll burn me on top. Yes, blessed. Yes, angry. Yes, trying to change my mood. Have to go for the morning walk. I have to calm myself down. I just got off the phone with the judge after the second time I had to do a Zoom call, and still, after arresting me for 7 days, taking a full week of my life, they still have me on a court. They're still trying to sentence me. They're still trying to give me more time, more fines, and it pissed me all the way off. I said, excuse the fuck out of me. Oh my God, can I talk? Like we were at a date. Like who the fuck talks to people like that? What kind of fucking judges do we have here? Can we replace them with a robot that cares? A robot that cares would do better than a judge with a bad attitude or a chip on their shoulder or power. You know, power corrupts absolutely. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And this person decided to treat me like I was her ex-husband or boyfriend. Even hung up on me on my conference call this morning. And I said, America is home of the slaves, man. This is slavery. These look like homes, but each one of us have to work our asses off to make sure that each individual plate stays awake. This one has a cracked windshield. This one has a flat tire. My friend had his light out last night. We can't even drive on the streets in this country unless you rich. Unless you rich. God forbid you get into a car accident. God forbid that your car gets older, time elapses, and these little pieces of paper that they use to control everybody starts to flake off real fucking quick. And that is something that I just had to go through this morning. I was like, not for nothing, you could say case dismissed. And last month you lied to me and said that you wouldn't listen to my court case. And instead I said not guilty. Then I could be heard. And this was a pretrial. So I had wait a month for a pretrial for another month till next month when I'll be out of the country to have another trial. And I just said, Your Honor, I don't have... I'll be out of the country by then. No fucks given, hanged up the phone on me. And I said, what a fucking super cunt. I got super cunted by a super cunty, bad fucking haircut judge. You should have seen this chick with the frazzle hair. You know, the ones that pretend to be blonde, but then they got a big old 4-inch gap right there of just black. Yeah, that's who I was dealing with. Somebody who's totally Karened out. This is the Karen hairstyle. Karen just tried to out Karen me, trying to scare me into warrants and not warrants for my arrest. Arrested me, gave me no credit for the time served, and now I'm still getting sentencing. I'm still in the court case. I'm still in this system of America. And this morning I said, we got to fight with all of our lives to keep our moods good. And that's why I went for my morning walk, because I'm fighting for my mood. I've been feeling great because I'm like kind of in love, and I got a little love in my life, and I'm going to be traveling the world again, and I'm getting away from all of this shit. This just shit. Can't even, the guy was like, maybe lower the fine. He's like, I don't even know the case. He's all sitting there fuddling with his pen, and it should be case dismissed. But no, I'm still going through it. I'm still going through this shit with these people in America. And I said, fuck this country. It's been almost over 5 years for this ticket. And at 7 years, the statute of limitations, I'm going to be leaving for a year. So it only gives me a year to stay out of trouble, which I've been out of trouble this whole time. So I don't have to fuck with these people anymore. These slave mentalities, this, you got to make me work so I can keep on eating. My friend was like, I want to have a food coma. I want to go home and go to sleep. And I'm like, can you do that? As if she had to ask her master if she had permission, her boss, to have permission to have the day off. There is no taking days off, because now you're threatened by homelessness. That's right. They threaten us with our freedom. They'll threaten us with our financials, and they'll also threaten us with firing. Freedom, financial, and threaten you on each one, so then make sure that you come to work. If you don't want to go to work and you don't feel like it that day, guess what? You are now in threat of your whole entire life. Talk about feeling worse. Talk about feeling less free. That's what's happening. People go into their lives and they try to make things a reality. And guess what? You're not allowed to be free around here. You're allowed to pay. All of a sudden, as soon as you give up some money, all of a sudden everything's just waived. It's such the law. And you gotta buy, oh, you have some money in your hands here. Let me change my tone. Let me help you out. Let me talk about my greed. Because if it was principles, we'd have to do time. There'd be no walk away from it. It would be like, it's here, it's now, and you need to do something about it. And that's what I'm doing something about it. I'm doing something about my mood. You feel me? To get things done right here, right now, when things are happening, I want to be the guy that fucking gets it done and gets away from the drama. I'm not here to continue on court cases or continue arguing or continue any sort of thing that's going to fuck up my chi. You really think it's going to stop me because a truck I don't have anymore didn't have registrations and my license was expired? Come on now. Registration was expired. License was expired. That's just time. That's me traveling around the world and not having enough money to fix the registration because my truck had a bad engine, and now my Prius had a bad engine, and all these vehicles, they don't want to work. But you would love to come up to somebody and say, look, you're expired. There's a yellow tag, or look, you don't have a tag, and let me take your freedom because you don't have a tag. I don't know who's driving this car, and that other car is an old classic, but would you keep paying $500 a year for a car you never drove? Or how about a car that they came and stole? They actually took my car, towed it away, and sold it from underneath me before I ever even got to see it. And that's something that's really startling to me, that you can sell my car, and by the way, you'll email my attorney, who I gave you a random attorney's email, but not the owner, the paperwork. There's so much fucked upness around in America. We don't talk about it. Slaves are supposed to stay quiet. We're supposed to be silent slaves. We're not supposed to talk about how the pay differential is so fucked up. You're talking about Caterpillar, CAT, one of the best blue chip stocks out in the world, right? Blue chip stock in it. Guess what they got? Strikes. Yeah, people are like, fuck you, bro. You got to pay your workers more wages because we're earning you so much fucking money. But that's not what they're going to do. They're going to control the masses. They're going to be like, I just want a workforce. Something similar to like what happens down in Brazil where they make children work, or in China where they still have children working. There's child labor because they just want the labor. They don't want the child. They don't want their population to grow. It's already grown, it's old, it's gone, and now there's no more hands to be on deck. There's no more slaves to row the ship. And just like, here's case in point. This is how greed affects our country. What happens is the slavery was on the decline. That's right, in the 18th century, about 1850, slavery was actually going down. And slaves were getting cheaper because it was becoming outdated. Then all of a sudden, Eli Whitney, smart man, created a machine called the cotton gin. And the cotton gin could process, one man could process as much as 40 men could process cotton and drop the seeds out of it. It's a very simple machine, but because that machine got generated more labor. That's right, they needed people still. And then next thing you know, now slaves went from 200, 500 a piece to now 1,000, 2,000 a piece. And it skyrocketed the numbers, and it skyrocketed the laws. And all they kept trying to do was control people. I couldn't even talk to her as a real person. I said, lady, I already did my time. You already had me in jail. $100 a day, case dismissed. No, pre-trial, set to trial. Next court case, I can't make that. Doesn't matter, hang up. And I'm like, really? How many people do they do this to? I'm in there with a lot of people that have families and are the cornerstone of their family. They're the main breadwinners, and they think they're teaching you a lesson by stealing more of your money and more of your time and incarcerating you and destroying family unit. So what you're telling me is because my registration was expired and my license was expired, that you can threaten my life, my job, and my family, our security, the house that we live in. You kidding right now? At all? Because one little piece, what the law has changed now too, by the way, that this is no longer a criminal offense. This is a civil matter. It should never affect other people. Guess what? As soon as they can, They throw the book at you financially. It's hard enough to come up financially, but the only way they know how to discipline is by greed. And the only thing that they want is the money. All of a sudden, it's the right fee, everything appears, including their loyalty, their care, all the things that were all up in the air, like, you better pay, this is important, deeds are important, warrants are, whoa, got your hand. I was just joking. I'm really a greedy bastard that only wants money. That's greed. You want to know where it comes from? Greed. It comes from people wanting more money from people that don't have any money. Do you think this happens to people? Happens in Finland? Let me give you a case in point. The highest record ticket in Finland, and you can look this up, was 350,000 euros. That's right, a speeding ticket, 350,000 euros. Guess why? Because they live off of a sliding scale of income, and one of the Nokia executives was driving fast in his car and he could afford it. But you keep the rates the same for people that can't afford it, and there's no sliding scale, or like we did in South Korea, any standardization of punishment. There's no standards here. It's just people on their whim. It's like asking your older brother what your punishment should be. No, you shouldn't ask an adult. You should ask a whole bunch of people and say, look, I don't have time for this shit. And that's what most of the courts did. They gave away they expunged this year 35,000 tickets because there were so many tickets for people for not doing anything. Paper tickets, not offenses, not a criminal activity, no one hurt, but it started to bog down the jail, and it started to bog down the courts, their own system. Good morning, sir. Morning. Hey, brother. Slowing us all down, costing us all double. And it put me in this mood where it was like, you know what, I don't want to deal with people no more. This is why I travel the country. This is why I'm leaving, because I live in a country that plays dumb, stupid. And I'm over here like, I'm a free man. I'm the type of guy that's got to risk it for the biscuit. I'm the type of guy, the same slave that would have went in the Underground Railroad knowing there's snakes and dogs and people chasing after me, but it's worth everything to me because guess what? I got somewhere to be. I can read. I'm looking at Frederick Douglass, the man, the myth, the legend, sneaking for not only second time getting caught from running from slaves, but his third time going up with faulty paperwork up to the north. Guy stops him in the train. If he would have identified that identification didn't match the man that he was looking at, it would have changed his whole life. He would have gone straight down to fucking runaway slave station, and it would have been a very expensive, painful process. But that's not what happened. He knew how to read. The educated slaves, the ones that went to college and know how to work the system. And actually, I could be a lawyer if I wanted to be. And I'm looking at the statute of limitations and I'm like, this thing is literally a year and a half away from being expired, and you're still holding on to it like it was brand new last week, trying to charge me $800 for something that's almost 8 years old. I'm gone. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm gone and dead. See you later. That guy died. Go after his dead body. What are you going to do when you owe money and someone dies? What are you going to do then, huh? You're trying to prove a point? You're trying to put a dead man into a jail cell? Didn't think so. And that's why they said, don't beat a dead horse. And that's what we do here. We beat dead horses. We hurt people, and everybody said, oh yeah, let me come to America, land of the brave. We were arguing about it, and they were saying there's so many more resources for homeless in America. And I was like, actually, there's a big difference. We're fighting for our mood. We're fighting for our lives, literally, because if you don't go to work, you are homeless. And even homeless people get arrested. You won't believe how many homeless people are inside jail cells because they're on the streets and they have nowhere else to go. That's right. They want to keep people down and take their money and take their sanity and put them on the street. But they got nowhere else to go. So the system clogs up because eventually you got to get let out. And eventually they can't make no money by putting you in jail. And now you're a problem because you're out on the streets. And they create this issue because they have no solution. The only thing they keep doing is taking more money from the poor and expecting them not to be poor, expecting them not to be criminals, expecting them not to have a bad mood. And that's why I'm having this conversation this morning, because it's slavery. It's modern day slavery. I have a shirt. I'm making it now. It says slavery. And it's all the money signs. The S is for the dollar. The L is for the pound, the A is for Argentina, the V is just the V, the E is for the euro, the R and the Y is the yuan in China. All this money is only going to people inside of a system. It's not like the system's paying into the schools. It's not like the weed money went to the schools. No, none of that. We rank the last in America over here in Nevada. Literally, we are the stupidest state in Nevada, or I mean, in the country of America, and none of that money goes anywhere. We still have bad roads. We still have all this construction. All this shit ends up happening because of what's going on in the real world. So I have this where it's like, no, that's not right to treat people like that. You can't just fucking taxing people that already been taxed. The one is you're charging income, charge me when I withdraw it. There's so many taxes, your money and your life, and I don't want to pay that. That's the price is too much to pay. My time is priceless. So I'm going to go live my life before I die. Catch my dead body and put it in a jail cell. Please don't, because I never want my soul to be in a jail cell, you know? But I don't want any souls to be able to restitutions. Community. Why don't we build up the community instead of tearing apart the family unit? Hey, brother. Good morning. What are you going to plant a tree or what? But yeah, bro, it's one of those where it's like you're changing people in society fundamentally. And when a society can't trust its government, they rebel. And right now, we think that our government is unshakable. But just last year or 2 years ago, they were storming the gates January 6th. They were storming our actual U.S. Capitol. We're not as safe as we think we are. We are a country for the people, by the people, not against the people. And we're supposed to protect the people instead of serve the people. And I was talking to my friend today. He said, yeah, we were at the park one time, and one of the cops came. We were all in the park just chilling, nothing happened. And they said, oh, let's see your IDs to make sure everyone's 21 here. So first they come in, public park, no one's causing any trouble. We're in a group, but they're gonna stop everybody to make sure that they're legal age to drink, as if that's a big thing. But they don't stop there. They find one of the people with their ID, the homie who got his ID stolen, and someone stole a bunch of cars. Now they want to talk to him about warrants. He's like, that's not me. I had my ID stolen. If he didn't have his 1-year-old child, brand new father, his life, his son in his hands, being threatened his freedom, we would be in arms. We think of like the Japanese coming into China and Nanking and raping women in South Korea. There's no justice there. There's no humanity. We talk about civil liberties all the fucking time. And it's like there's a lot of human rights violations going on. That's a human right violation. To fuck with some man or woman while they have a child in their hand. Well, it's a warrant. We have to serve the warrant. No, what you need to do is go serve somebody that's causing real harm. Okay? You need to protect the family unit. You need to protect happiness and peace. As long as people are being peaceful, there should be no resistance. But what do? Resistance is futile. We fucking cause trouble where there wasn't any. How many people do you know in your life that's like and pull a grave in front of them? Yeah, it's like that. That we're going to take people away from their families and while they're something awesome and go fuck with them. That's what I'm talking about, dude. The system's so fucking slave-ridden. People, that some of these laws come from Jim Crow laws. Back in the day, they said, well, it's the law that you're not allowed to be a black man and walking around without a note. That's right. If you didn't have a note from your massa, you don't get to walk around. And it's going to get blacked out again. Black and brown skin get the treatment again. They get the very worst treatment from people because they don't give a rat's ass. This whole country doesn't give a rat's ass. So that's why I go to other countries. When I walk around, for some reason, I can smoke weed around the whole world. South Korea, they get their whole panties in a bunch. 3 grams of weed, 10 days later, guess what? Shit's changed. The whole fucking thing's changed. The whole law, everything. Now you can get medical marijuana in South Korea. So what was the principle for? Trying to stop the low-level guys? I'm literally listening to all the people that have smuggled millions of pounds, bro. Real federal time, real federal cases. They didn't go after those guys. Those guys ran around for 10 years. You'll stop another guy and give him 10 years for a dime bag. That's what we do. We try to capture the small guy, the end goal guy, instead of the beginning goal guy, the guy that was actually mixing the cocaine in the cartels in Mexico, in fucking Bolivia. They're gonna start there? No, they're gonna catch you buying it, just the smallest amount for a little bit of cash, threaten your life as if you, the end user, is gonna change your addictions, your patterns, or what you want as a human being. They can't stop what human beings want, but instead of improving lives and helping people have a better life that they don't have to run from. You feel me? That's what it's really about. It's like if you have love in your life, if you have someone telling you that you're loved, if you have supplies, if you have abundance, then you're not an angry person. You're not going to commit crimes. But for people that don't have that, that's where the crimes happen. It happens in the favelas. You don't give these people enough, and they will find a way. And that's what I started to see. I mean, I was kind of judgy that day, I'm not going to lie. My first time in Rio de Janeiro, I heard some stories from some other guys. They were Americans. They were sitting at a table. I was overhearing them. I wasn't part of the conversation, just overheard it. He said this lady got beat by a man in the streets of Brazil, like bip, 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 and no one did anything about it. And after the thing, everything went back to normal. And he said it was the craziest thing. He was speaking American English, probably from America, and told the story that I overheard and couldn't believe it. And I go to Rio, and what did I see? Rio de Janeiro. And this guy has to run. And I saw him, and there was like this motorbike, and I'm like, oh shit, somebody's going after the dude in the motorbike. No, it wasn't the dude in the motorbike. It was the poor dude that stole the cell phone on his pedal bike, got chased down by the guy on the motorbike, and the two cops that were in the truck stopped, pulled guns on him, and put him to the ground. He would have lost his life for a cell phone. Maybe you think it's right. Maybe you think it's right that thieves that steal, they got nothing, but when they do steal something, that they should lose their lives for stealing. Man, I lost so many cell phones. I lost my own cell phone in Brazil. Who am I going to kill for that? How many times have I broken my own damn phone? Many times. Is it worth a life? So let me get this straight. The real slaves in China, which there are, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's called Fox, not Fox Hunter, Fox something, Fox Trot. I can't remember, bro, but Fox something was over the people that hire Foxconn or something like that. That people that hire all the people that make the iPhones, you know what they did? They don't give a fuck, bro. They made those people stay there with no contact to their families, no leaving, all this different shit. Hold on. I'm gonna just light my thing. It just bugs me, dude, that people are gonna make cell phones out of slavery, right? They don't even let them do it in China anymore. These people were stuck 7 days a week working 15-hour days, mandatory, just so they can get the new iPhone release. And they had no rights. They had to fight back. China tried to crack down on them. You know, that all happened. Shout out to Mike Tyson. We're getting the Tyson Toad rap from Futurella. They're my homies. And then we're going to go through all of that shit, right? So that way we can capture somebody else from a cell phone. It's crazy, bro. The amount of markup that they make. I think each cell phone's made $7-12 like a tennis shoe, but they sell it for $800, and they're going to let someone go to jail for their whole life or have guns or lose their lives over a cell phone that was made for $12. We don't do that. We do it from the total retail price. It's like, no, man, this thing's worth all the money. So they sentence you to longer terms. They even make up the charges, even though and they know it's going to drop. You'll still do time for the top most expensive part of the charge. They're going to charge you for it. That's what's going on right now. This man almost lost his life in front of me in Brazil, and I said, I've never been that poor in my life. Just being real. You know, I just never been that poor. And if someone told me that my mom was sick and I needed to get her medicine, I'm still on. Still a cell phone. Stealing cars. Stealing anything that isn't glued down, because I'm going to get out of my situation. You might want me to get an education, but you didn't invest in me in my school. So now I've come out, and now I'm in the real world. Now you got monsters on the streets. You got people that facing long ass sentences, and they're monsters, bro. They don't have no care. No one ever showed them care. They thought that they taught them lessons, so they gave them longer sentences. Guess what? Eventually they get out. Guess what? Eventually they're in your house. And if you keep fucking with people, you're gonna know right then and there, Fight Club style, we watch you while you sleep. That's right, Miss Clapper with a K, Judge Clapper. I know who you are. I know where you live. And I bet you I can find out where you live. There was a judge the other day that committed suicide because all of you guys are corrupt. All of you guys are giving longer sentences to younger people, and it's fucked up. Who's going to pay those restitutions? Who's going to give those kids their time back? Nobody's going to give him his life back. They wanted him to plead guilty, but he wouldn't plead. So they kept him, and he got raped and bullied, but he didn't kill himself. He got on Oprah and proved his point. But guess what? Even after that, then he killed himself. That's what we're up against. We're up against fighting for our lives, bro. Not just moods, lives and times and mentals and all the stuff that it takes to make it work. So it's a very slippery slope. I know it is slavery. It's modern day slavery. And everybody's walking around just watching it as if it doesn't happen, as if it doesn't exist. And that's a motherfucking problem. So for all of those that are watching right now, ask yourself, how many people do you know that have been arrested? How many friends, close friends, relatives have been around you chilling, doing nothing wrong? I'm not talking about violence, DUIs, and hit and runs. Yeah, bro, you did something wrong. But for all the other ones, it's cracking. When are we going to stop this madness? When are we going to stop treating people like they're cattle? Like they're some son of subversive species if they're not rich? You know, if you have poverty, if you have, unfortunately, the disease of poverty, then you are not going to get to eat right. You're not going to get the same rights. You're not going to even get the same education. They're going to let you fall off and fuck up and watch you fuck up and earn money off of it while you fuck up. So I had a tough time today. I'm fighting for my mood. I smoked my weed. I'm still saying off the shirt. Okay, I don't have any evil